Hello and welcome to Sumerians. Sumerians is a city-building game set in ancient Mesopotamia. We'll attract new citizens and grow by expanding our irrigation system, building walls, palaces, temples, and ziggurats. We'll research new technologies, manage our production, hire workers, and trade. This is developed and self-published by Decumanus Games, and was recently released middle of October here on Steam. And the developer reached out to ask me if I would be interested in taking a look at it. So here we are. This game is somewhat like the Impressions games from the 90s. I'm talking about like Pharaoh and Cleopatra, Zeus, Poseidon, and the Caesar series. And there's been a couple of other games released recently that also kind of fit that bill. They may fit that bill a little bit closer, as this game has some different aspects to it that are not sort of native to those games, those original games, and the more recent remakes. So I have played through just the first scenario or scenario and a half in the campaign, and I thought I would just kind of get a feel for the game, and I thought I would jump in and just start back over again with you all here on YouTube. So thank you again to Decumanus for providing the key to play this for you on YouTube, and let's jump in and take a look. So we of course have an array of settings. I've turned the music down, as I often do, just for YouTube balance. It's a little too loud, and otherwise I've left everything else at what was made the default. I may or may not turn off edge scrolling, as you well know, and otherwise we're just gonna kind of leave everything as is and see how it goes. Let's go into the campaign. So the campaign starts out as sort of a learning scenario, which I think is fine to do, because, well, the game has some interesting mechanics to it that are that I think would be worth playing through the campaign once to understand those mechanics before you jump into a custom game, for example, here in the new game menu. So we're going to jump back in. I just noticed there's a reset button here in the campaign, so we can actually reset all the campaign progress and start again. Not that we couldn't have started again, but to start again with the game as a fresh campaign. So let's jump into Neolithic, 8th millennium BC, the farming revolution. I don't think there are any cutscenes. We just have this sort of loading screen here, and then it takes us straight into the game. Welcome to Sumerians. Let's begin with the movement controls. So, of course, WASD, or right mouse and drag, right mouse click and drag. Center mouse button to rotate the camera, or QETR. The QETR really the QE is fine, but the TNR for the pitch and yaw here, I'm kind of passive on, but that's fine. And then zooming with FG or the mouse wheel, and I think I'm just going to go with the mouse wheel on that. So, found the city by placing the initial storage building. Place it near the river to easily access the fertile areas, which are dark green. You can rotate the buildings before placing them using the Z and X keys, and you have to actually use the keys for that. So we have, of course, we are in the delta here, or the riverside area here of one of the ancient Mesopotamia rivers, either the Tigris or the Euphrates, possibly both of them, depending on what's going on actually here. And we are up against the desert, where we have a little bit of a mountain here that we need to deal with and manage. So we're going to start here in the near the river, and we'll just put down our initial building. We only have the choice to take the initial building from the toolbar, and we get the additional buildings as we are as we progress. And so I don't know if we really want to put this in the middle of the dark green area or not, but I'm going to. And then it tells us about pausing and unpausing using the space, or 1, 2, 3 for the speeds. We need to start zoning. So one of the things that's different between this game and those Impressions games from the 90s is that you, instead of placing actual building spaces, you actually do zoning for housing. You do zoning for farming and other things, and then they kind of will use that space that you assign them kind of however they want a little bit. And along the way you can put in roads, paths, but they also kind of don't really need them, so you kind of have to be a little bit circumspect with it, I guess. I think this is fine to do these here, though. I was considering doing this to where, how many zones you want to put? 8 housing zones. Okay, let's do that like this then. And they'll start putting in houses. And they kind of do fit that grid in a way, but the grid is also very much not a grid. So it's kind of a hybrid between those games and games like maybe Foundation or something like that. Now we need to do farming zones, citizen farming. So citizen farming is different than government farming, and we'll get to government farming in a little while. I don't know if these want to be, but these have to be put in the green areas. I don't know why they keep calling it dark green. I wouldn't call this a dark green. It's definitely darker than this, but it's not really dark green. It's more like a, I don't know. It's more like a medium green to me, but whatever. So we'll place some farming for the citizens, and then we can move on to give the citizens some places to do workshops in market. But before we do that, I think I want to try to put down some paths, if I can, just for sort of fun, and you can kind of paint it. It's not like a straight line path like we might know from most games. Instead, this is just like, hey, this might be someplace you would want to use as a path, and so you're kind of just wearing that in the way that you would, the people kind of wear it in games like Foundation. Market stalls, citizens workshops, let's do a couple of those. Maybe we'll put those over here. A couple of those. And then 4 market stall zones, and these are small. And they kind of attach, but not really attached to adjacent things. So you kind of just have to say, hey, do something in this general area. The demand for fiber businesses will increase as the population grows. You can see the demand bars on the right side of the graphs panel. You can close the panel by pressing the same button or using the right mouse button. Alright, so we'll click on this, and that shows some of these graphs here. We have no religious influence so far, which makes sense because we haven't built any religious buildings. We have a quality of life section here where demand is not quite up to full green yet, so hopefully there will be some more demand, which I'm not exactly sure what demand means. I guess it means that they have demand for market stalls, they have demand for workshops. Maybe that means that there's no high demand for anything, like we've satisfied all the demand, then it goes green. I'm not sure, but then we can right click to close the panel. You hire and pay salaries to the citizens that work directly for the state. In the state field, you can produce grain to pay the salaries of your workers. Place the state field at least 30 tiles. Before we do that, let's paint a couple more little paths here. Maybe like this, and then something along this way, maybe. And because it kind of clears the trees out and gives them a little bit of a suggestion about where to walk, but it's not perfect. So state fields are here. So it's kind of, this is zoning for citizens, and then this is actual building of state-owned things. So let's start this out here, maybe. Leave a little bit of space for like the path walkway there, and 30 tiles. Let's go 5 by 6 in, maybe it's 5 by 5, maybe in this direction. Yeah, we'll do this direction there. And that gives you kind of a big farm. And then we need to place a builder, which I thought was here, but I think it's here actually. Yep, builder. The builders is basically like a building post. So these people will build the farming buildings. Actually, let's leave this out here a little bit. Yeah, let's do it like this, and then we'll build that farm as well. Nope, I changed my mind. Let's remove that. Let's do this one first. And so this has a range on it, and so these people who are working here will farm anything in that fairly large range. This out here, I think. Something like that. And I think I'm going to automatically, or right away, plan a big path space kind of in this area. Nice and wide promenade kind of thing, so that we can handle you know, whatever we need later. Increase the game speed. We can do that by pressing 2 or 3, and then jump back to 1. You can see those changing down here. Finish the builders and the farming. Jump up to 3 to let that stuff get done. They're not going to farm this year because it is too late to farm this year. According to the farming calendar, we are here near the end, which is a ripening phase, so they won't start farming until this point, which is a harvest seed phase, after the harvest phase here. So they can harvest and seed at the same time, or in the same range of time, I should say. Builders is finished. You can manage workers from the open panel when you select a building with a mouse. And so we need to manage the workers to set it down to just 3. We can confirm that. And then we also need to, we looked at the farming calendar, so they're going to be able to plant right now, and they're actually going out to seed right now. And then once they get through the seed phase, then if they hadn't harvested everything, then it would be kind of trashed. And then they can go through the growth phase and into the ripening phase, and then back to the harvesting phase. Transporters. Transporters are here. Donkey transport. Maybe over here. I don't have really any strategy on how to best lay out a city. I'm just kind of playing generically because, well, I think something like this you would need to kind of practice a little bit to have a good strategy about how to lay things out. So the citizens have built nearly every house that's possible. There are probably not full, all of them. Like this one has 43 people, this one has 6 people living in it. So they're going to fill up. I don't know what the capacity is for these either. Does it say anywhere? No. So I don't know what the capacity is, but they also haven't occupied all 8 plots yet. And we have only 4 of the 6 citizen farm plots allocated. And we have, not what I wanted. This here. We have both of the the citizen workshops, but only 2 of the market stalls occupied, which that might actually be a problem with me putting a road through there, but it's okay. We'll see what happens. So they're working on the transporters. Farming, we have 10 workers assigned to that. And it's 100% seeded with barley. We can also grow flax and then sesame apparently later. And here in the farming calendar, we are in the seed and harvest phase here. I don't know why. Oh, we're still in the seed phase. Okay, we haven't gotten that far yet. So they'll have to let this continue to grow. Build a mud pit. Now it's time to build your first temple and raise your religious reputation so you can attract new immigrants to the city. So let's actually, before we get into that, let's see if I can change. Let's unzone these 2 here and rezone a couple of markets over here maybe. Maybe that'd be better in the long run. See how close I can get it without going over. Then we'll have a bit more room here for a path that we can lay out and plan for. Just so that they have a place to kind of walk. Mud pit. Mud pit also just needs to be placed, as far as I know, in the dark green area. It seems logical to me to put those kind of nearish to the river. I don't know if we want them too close to the river, because I don't know if we want to have it be, if we're going to have things like fishing, for example, up against the river. But I think putting down a mud pit there, and then we can build a mud temple. And that's over here, and that's our first level of temple, which is a mud temple. Let's do the ZX to rotate here. And I'm just going to put it... maybe I'll put it down here. No, because I don't want them to walk all that far. Let's put it here next to the market. Seems like a good place. There we go. And so they'll do that. This built instantly, and it automatically got 5 workers. And then the mud temple is going to have to be constructed with mud from the mud pit. So they're going to have to collect up 20 mud to build the mud temple. We're at 6 already, and growing. They earn 5 grain plus 80% beer as their salary. Interesting. Ah, these are growing. Good. We are in the we're in the growth phase, which makes sense because, well, it's growing, so that's good. And that also applies to the citizen farming as well. Okay, they're just now getting around to doing that. We're going to speed the game up a little bit. They're also getting builders assigned, and if you recall, we turned the builders down from 3 to, or down from like 5 to 3. So this only had 3 workers, or builders active in it. By putting 3 more workers available in the builders building, that might have sounded redundant, but it wasn't. That means that we can have all 6 of them that this building will allow, and they'll get it built really, really fast, like that. And then now the mud temple needs workers assigned to it, of course. They auto-assign. We could step that back down if we wanted. And they have salaries. They have artifacts that they'll buy. And then we can also jump into the city bar graphs panel here and see that we do have some religious influence. And we can see a little bit of, I guess, histogram, or no, actually it's more of a comparison of the different types of temples to see what the different effects of the different temples are in our city. Did I miss what I missed there? Close the panel. Okay. Increase your population to finish this chapter. We need to have 150 citizens. That shouldn't be a problem. People are coming in still. We have a little bit of a demand for food, but we also have 2 citizen farms that have not yet been, occupied. So perhaps we could get that, or we could just do a little bit more zoning for a little bit more government farming. That would be fine too. Maybe we do like 3 by 6 more, like that, and then they'll come out and farm that too. 100% seeded there. This is getting seeded. Look at the farming calendar. We are too far past the seeding season for them to be able to seed that, so that won't get dealt with until next year. But we have also hit our population of, now we're up to 185 and climbing, and our demand is basically 0 for everything now. So we are in a good place for this scenario, and this is kind of, like I said, a learning scenario. So let's jump back out to... This exit game actually exits the game. Okay, yeah, that's not what I would normally want to do at the end of a scenario like that, but I wasn't sure if it meant exit this map or exit the game to exit the game. But it means exit the game, which is interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a game give you the option to exit it at the end, like at the scenario end message. But we finished that scenario, so let's jump into the Ubaid period, the 5th millennium BC, which introduces water management. We also get the option to start on easy or on medium. It's immediately telling us what one of the differences are, that we get a free mud temple building on easy. I don't know what the other challenges might be, because there's nothing listed here as to what the differences are. And I think it's reasonable, given this is our first playthrough, to play it on easy. So start your city with the initial building. Just kind of looking around again. We could do on either side of the river. We could build... Yeah, we could build on the side of the river. That way, if we decide we want to do a bunch of some things out here, and actually maybe we want to, if we put the initial building, say, out here in the less fertile zone, then we could use the housing out here where we can't farm it, can't plant it, can't whatever it. And, maybe we want to carve them a path across here, kind of as a, Maginot line or something, and then do maybe a path out this way and a path in this way as like, hey, let's use this as kind of like a major city grid kind of scenario. And then we can go from there. So let's jump into the zoning for housing, and we'll want to start, somewhere maybe right here. And it says it wants at least 8. We'll go ahead and just do the 8 for now. I don't think you need to have like a road to everything, because I don't think the game's set that way. But I guess you could if you wanted. Fishing zoning, that's going to have to be down here, I assume, right up against the river. There it is. So let's finish dragging our path this way a little bit. And boom, that ends with a little bit of a lip. That's okay. And then we can set up some of the zoning for fishing here. And it's actually got to overlap a little bit with the water. So let's do a couple in this direction. And let's do a couple in this direction. 3 citizen workshop zones and 6 market stall zones. And those are things that I also want to put out here, I think. Let's put these sort of behind. Let's do just 4 of those because it's a square, and I like squares. And then these could go... Find that sweet spot right in there somewhere. There it is. Let's do 6 of these like this. And I think that'll be good. And then, you know, we can always do some other arrangement. State fields, at least 40 tiles. We can do that. But we also need to do the builder and the farming, so let's go ahead and do those 2 first, actually. The builders, I'm going to put here at this side of the intersection, I think. But maybe kind of aligned with there. And then the farmers, that's transport. Farmers is here. That can go right in there or so. Overlapping a little bit with the road, but not a lot. And then we can do something like this, where this goes 40 tiles. 5 by 8 would be a good number. That's 7 by 6. That's 42. That'll work. We could also kind of maybe fill this part in here too. Maybe I want to do it from this corner then. Oops. I had clicked and didn't really mean to. I don't know if it stuck anything or not. We'll do it like... Just do it like that. That's good. Get 9 more. We'll get plenty of government fields, plenty of state fields working. You've got 5 workers. I think we'll leave that there. And then we want to grow barley. As it says here, start growing barley to obtain grain. So we'll leave those set to barley. Surprised they didn't have me do any citizen farming. Whether we want to or not, I'm not sure. But I'm surprised they didn't have me zone any citizen farms. We do have some demand for citizen workshops and market stalls, as well as food in general. The citizen workshops just went away completely. Market stalls, we have some that you haven't claimed yet, so you can continue claiming those. Inventory and workers. Interesting. Build a donkey transporter. Okay. Take care of that. I'm going to put that here next to the builders because I don't know why. Reasons. And then we'll need to add 4 donkeys into the transporters after it's done. Looking back at this, so we have a bunch of grain in our inventory. We can see charts on that. And of course, we are constantly consuming the grain without replacing any of it at this point. Cattle, sheep, donkeys, and oxen. State workers. And taxes. We have not earned any taxes. Value is in grain, of course. Okay, that's how we get the free mud temple when we need it. Yeah, I didn't quite do those in straight lines. We'll have to straighten them out a little bit, but it's okay. And so you can see, yeah, they're building their own paths. They're marking their own paths where they actually are traveling, just as you see in games like Foundation. But they will also, you know, they'll try to use the roads that I marked as well. Add donkeys by clicking the plus button. The plus button. Okay, it automatically added them. Interesting. That's a plus button. But that's transport orders. Interesting. Have livestock enclosure for donkeys and get 2 donkeys for the transporters. Livestock enclosures. That that's a small warehouse. Fish market. Livestock. Needs cattle. A livestock enclosure for donkeys. I guess I could try this to see what it does. I just don't really know what it does. Donkeys. Okay, there we are. And you get 2 donkeys for the transporters. Buy 1. We probably don't have enough grain for that. No, we do not. So we need to earn a lot more grain. And we could tell them to not keep any for breeding. That way that goes into the transporter instead. Okay, good. Where are we at with grain production here? When are we at? We are just now nearing the end of the year, so they'll start planting. Maybe we should mark a few more fields for them to plant while we're waiting. Here. I'd like to start on this side, though, I think. There we go. That'll give them a little more work to do. We do have 10 workers for that, so they should be able to farm most of that, I would assume. And I like the fact that when you do this road painting thing, it does not overwrite any of the building zones. It just will like paint under it, like in a different layer almost. I can see that I'm moving side to side. It's okay though. So you can kind of get right up to a building with the pathing, which is kind of nice. Ooh, a bridge. Different kind of bridge. Remove pathing. Nice. So we'll need to definitely get some more grain going. Let's go fast speed here. Get some of that seed planted, and then we can get some growth going. These buildings probably would have been good out here. I don't know specifically about the livestock pen, but I imagine it would have been good out there as well. Instead of using the fertile land. I don't know if it really matters or not. That'll do. Looks nice enough. Build a fish market. Oh, so we got the donkeys we needed, apparently. Interesting. Okay. Not sure. I've spent too much and can't afford to pay the salaries of my workers. I guess maybe I shouldn't have clicked that buy a donkey button. If you are doing the campaign in easy mode, you have lost some population and production. Remember to be careful with your grain reserve. 270 grain has been raised to restore the state. Oof. Alright. I may have been moving a little bit too fast for the game because we hadn't even had a growth period yet. Fish market, though, you want me to build? That's here. That's going to cost me mud, which means we need to get some mud. This needs a river. Oh, okay. In that case, we will put it out here on the river. Ooh, it turns automatically to follow the contours of the river, too. Interesting. I like it. Interesting. And then maybe we do a little bit more path painting here. Let's go with the little one. Like this. And I'll do a little more pathing here. And you can kind of go a little bit along the edge of that. Build that fish market. Yeah, we're getting low on grain again. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have spent that 500. But we should get some in here pretty soon. Good thing I planted all this. Because, yep, there they go, harvesting. Chop, chop. Look at them harvest. And look, there goes the donkeys. Collecting it all up. Nice. And then I assume that once it's all harvested and collected, they'll start seed planting again. We've got a couple more months to deal with it. So this is a pretty good amount, it looks like, for the number of workers we have here. We just made a few hundred grain. That's pretty good. Not great. Well, it's probably 800 grain or so, maybe more, maybe 900 in that area. So it's not bad. Did you seed this? Seeded. Okay, yes, it's been seeded. They should be building that fish market. No, they shouldn't be, because we don't have a clay pit yet. Let's build that clay pit here, and I think I will put that in this area here someplace. And then I could paint a little bit of help with the pathing here, like so. And that'll get them the mud they need to get the fish market up and running. I like having the kind of nice, wide-looking, you know, main avenues here. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if it really makes a huge difference, but it's at least, it looks appealing. Whether it's actually necessary or not, I don't know. Probably not really necessary, because it looks like they'll just cut their own paths as they so choose anyway. All right, we should be nearing, yep, we're nearing the harvesting phase again already, so that'll get us a bit more. Looks like we spent maybe about 500 grain over the course of the year. So we, or, you know, about 500 grain over the course of the year, so we'll definitely want to have more of that coming in. We could build some citizen farming. Maybe that's not a bad idea. How about like that? Yeah, so I don't think I needed to click that button. It looks like they're coming in on their own eventually. That's just to kind of speed it along. I guess you win some, you lose some. You learn along the way. You need some builders. Okay. They should be coming down from the builders. And look, the citizens have started doing their own farm preparations in a couple of plots. Although they don't have any workers, so who knows. Give them a few more housing plots. I can't go wider than 4. Interesting. Nope, I was too close. Okay. Maybe a few more of those. We had one left, but it's good to have more. They should be working on this now. Yep, it's got all the mud it needs. It just needs builders. Can I tell what they're actually out doing? Oh, that's outside the builder's range. Ooh. Okay, that's why it doesn't have builders. So at that point, I guess I would build another builders. As redundant as that sounds, I guess. That in there, and then that'll get built. Yeah, there's our harvest again. Might want to try to plant a few more fields. At least, you know, maybe. That's apparently a limit as far as how far it'll go, like that. So we'll keep that in mind as well. There's another field for you. It's probably good to have these in smaller segments anyway. I don't know. Maybe. Ah, good. They've done this. Let's knock this down, though, to just a couple of workers, because we really don't need that many workers there. I'd rather they get other jobs. All right, and they are selling grain and fish. We need workers out here for the fishing wharves. which means we need more population, which we are, you know, working toward. But we probably should do some religion here. So that might be the time we need to put down this temple. Oops, that's not the right key. That isn't either. Z and X, that's the right keys. And I was kind of thinking of putting this here. Although, you know, maybe over here would be better. Do that so I can see. I'm not entirely sure these are straight, but we'll go with it. And then that still needs the mud, which is fine. It can be brought up from down here, I guess, easily enough. They've already maxed out their mud storage, so they'll take them a little bit of time to transport that. And here's our transporter donkeys and also the animals. And so they will, you know, come up here. Do I have like 6? I think I have like 6 plots there. They've only filled in 2 of them with actual market stalls, because they're not really selling a whole lot. And they did get this all planted. As long as we have enough time in the calendar for them to harvest it all, which it looks like, and collect it all and then reseed it all. If not, we can always add more workers to the farmers building. The temple is good now. We have 6 workers there. It's actually going to be kind of close on the timing here. Get out there and seed all that. Okay, those 2 are done. This one's nearly done. Will they get this one over here done in time? That is the question. Done enough, but just barely. Got 92%. Okay. Population's good. 2 modules of Council of Elders. What are those? Those are new. That must be here. Council of Elders, max workers 10, gives points for the tech tree and increases authority. Ooh. I think we'll put that right here next to the market. I don't know what this exactly means. I guess these have to be added, snapped to it. Is that what we need to do? Temple administration. I bet you it is. So let's put it behind, maybe? Oh, we can't. It's in conflict with that building right there. Put it next to, then that's fine. And then that should be the 2 modules we need, I hope. Still on fast speed. I think it's fine. Yeah, see, they didn't get these 3 squares planted here. So we might need like 1 more worker. That might be just enough. Just 1 more. Just to kind of, you know, take the edge off a little bit. Ooh, we got some yellows here. Water access is a problem. Is that because I'm building out here? That could very well be. It might be that we need to not build in the more arid grass and instead build all in the green. It's probably fine. I just kind of wanted to experiment with it a little bit. But it's interesting. Water access is a potential problem. Okay, one of those is done. I can change the model. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's get down here where we can see it. So we kind of have plain walls there. We can switch it to be, you know, look more like this, which I think is probably good. And then we can also change the roof to have a little bit of a thingy in it. I don't know what that is. Maybe a chimney of some kind? Maybe. I don't know. It works for me. Good enough explanation as any. And how are we doing on mud? We're doing plenty good on mud. We probably don't need all those workers working on taking up mud. So yeah, I think I want to put everything a little bit closer together. I think I want to build things all close to the river rather than only certain things. Everything's going yellow. Religious influence is falling. Probably because there's too many people and not enough religious influence. Can we not build? No, we cannot build. You must be able, yeah, you can apparently only have one of each temple. So our population might be a little too big. Maybe I added a few too many houses. That's okay. They still didn't get this all planted. Open the tech tree panel. Alright, we get 20 daily science points, and we need to research irrigation. Irrigation canals right there. Let's do that. Development of irrigation allows for the construction of canals to expand fertile areas. So that must be also what will help the people get better access to water. Build a canal, build a shadoof, and a canal bridge. Here. Canal. I'm guessing we need to start here in the water, but I'd like to try and run it as close as I can to there. So let's see if I can get that lined up well. Okay, we can make them move around a little bit. That'll work for me. And we can go there, and we can come on up into... Guess not. Let's see, canal bridge. Right there? Sure. And a shadoof is a water access point here. Put one of those down. Dig, dig, dig. See how this goes. I have no idea how this is going to work, so we shall see. They built the bridge first. Perfect. And over here stomping on the ground, so they're going to take them a little bit of time to dig that hole. Ooh, water sound effects. Let's watch them from this weird sharp angle. So that's kind of fun. Okay, that makes logical sense. So we are able to go into the game guide and look at different things with regards to the things we're unlocking. That would probably be a good thing to do as we were playing along, but I'm just kind of winging it a little bit, and we're figuring things out on our own. But it tells you a little bit about the game and what's going on, whatnot. How are we doing with builders? Let's add a few builders, because that will help with the digging of the canals. You went to do that one first, because of course you did. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have the shadoof. Okay, the shadoof can be, they spelled it differently here versus there. It can be placed next to canals and provides water to your citizens. The bridge allows citizens to cross the canal. You don't say. I'm assuming this one here is, actually it's within range. I just would potentially need more workers there. They could probably help, but it's okay, I think. This one is done. They just didn't have water yet, and the shadoof is waiting also for the proverbial water. So we cannot go any further than that in that direction. Interesting. We can go... We can, turn it to have a little bit of a fork. There we go. So now they should be able to get water at the shadoof, which means that our water access improves a bit drastically. We still have religion issues, probably because we need to unlock the next level of temple. Land value. This is where the land is valuable. Select the water access view. Oops, water access here. Ah, yes, that makes sense. And then that means we have finished the thing. Yes, we have. So you can see using these overlays too, where we might have good irrigation and health issues, crime issues, security issues, beautification. That's the temple causing that. Taxes, of course, at the houses as well as at farms and shops and stuff. Authority is centralized on basically on the temple, but also to some extent on the central building, maybe. And then the land value, of course, which is all poor, but there's some brighter values in there too. And so that ends this scenario because we just need to increase our population a little bit more. So I'd like to take a little bit of a picture here because we're at 44 minutes. And so let's Just take a little bit of a picture. Get the canal in there. Get some of the farming in there. I don't know if there is a setting for a... Yeah, there it is. H. A good picture. There we are. And then let's go back out to the main menu. It's weird that it didn't give me the oh, there it is. Return to main menu. This time we'll return to the main menu. And we'll end here. And so in the next episode, we will take a look at some of the next campaigns. Iridu, maybe Lagash, depending on how long they continue to last. The longer they continue to last, of course, the fewer of them we'll be able to cover in an episode. But that's okay. And let me know your thoughts on this game. It's a little bit different than what I usually play, but it's still kind of in my genre, my wheelhouse. And of course, any suggestions you might have on how to build properly, as long as it's kind of spoiler-free, spoiler-light, that's fine. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the game, how much of it you want to see. Also, because, well, there's a bit of a campaign, and then we could play some of the, the random new games. And if this is something you want to see a lot of, by all means, let me know, and I will do my best to do more of it. And if it's something you're not that interested in, you can let me know as well, and we can do less of it and work on some other things. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.